Okay, this next thing is probably one of my most commonly used phrases ever. And that is, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Smashing English. Before we start this video, be sure to subscribe because we make new videos all the time and I don't want you to miss any. So with that said, let's get on with the video. If you are new here, hello, welcome. My name is Laura and I am an English teacher. So I recently looked back on some old conversations I've had with friends. I looked at the text messages I sent them. I listened to the voice notes because I love leaving voice notes. It's just so much easier. So I thought I would share with you some of the most common words and phrases that I found so that you can learn some real, relevant English that native speakers use. So let's get started. First up, we have fingers crossed. Fingers crossed just comes from this action. So if we really want something to happen, maybe, I've just entered the lottery, fingers crossed, it means I hope that it happens. I am hoping for a certain outcome. We cross our fingers and it's a way of hoping that it happens. I have a meeting with my boss today. Maybe I'll get a promotion. Fingers crossed. There are lots of variations for fingers crossed, like you might hear, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you, or just fingers crossed for you. Or sometimes people say, keeping everything crossed for you. And that means like, I'm hoping so much for you that I'm keeping my fingers crossed, my legs crossed, my eyes crossed. You know, I'm keeping everything crossed for you because I want this to happen for you so badly. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
The next thing I found that I said a lot to my friends was damn. And I use this in lots of different contexts, normally before an adjective. So I might say, ooh, that pizza was damn good, or I am feeling damn tired, or I'm feeling so damn sleepy. It's kind of a mild swear word, very mild. It's not a big, huge, crazy thing. If you say it in a meeting at work, you're not going to get fired. You're not going to be in trouble. It's a tiny swear word. So you can use damn just to exaggerate an adjective. It's a really good, juicy word. So, you know what? That film was damn weird. It was really weird. Damn weird.
It was outdoor detail. And May is one damn fine month to be working outdoors.
The next thing I said a lot was yay! Just a simple yay. Now, this only really works if you have that kind of personality. Yay is quite youthful and childlike and sweet, so I use it instead of congratulations, that's good. I say yay for good news. But you also might hear some people say hooray, like hooray, that's amazing. It's an exclamation of joy. Yay! The next thing I noticed was obviously, but specifically using it at the end of a sentence. I did this a lot. So for example, I need to buy more shoes, obviously. Or when you come over, I'll make you food, obviously. Now, this doesn't have any different meaning to if I put it at the beginning. So if I said, when you come over, obviously, I'll make you food. It means exactly the same thing. Personally, I just like to put it at the end of a sentence. So there's another option for you. As a native speaker, this is something I say a lot. So you can have faith that if you put obviously at the end of your sentence, it will sound pretty natural.
Not real cardboard, obviously.
Now, this next thing I say to my friends very often, you might be familiar with because we say this when someone achoo, sneezes. We say bless you. So if someone sneezes, we say bless you. But I say it a lot more often than that. I use it just to express sympathy or maybe to express admiration for somebody who has done something really hard. For example, if my friend says, oh, I've had a terrible day at work, I'm so tired, I've got so much work to do, I might say, oh, bless you, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm expressing my sympathy, I'm trying to give them some comfort. Bless you is just a lovely way to give comfort, to bless somebody. Literally, it means I'm giving you blessing, whatever blessing that may be. Some older people say, bless your heart. You might also hear that, oh, bless your heart. It means exactly the same thing. Personally, I just say bless you. So if this feels like something you would like to add to your vocabulary, go ahead. Moving on. Now, this next trend I noticed is very popular with Gen Z, very popular with the young people, and it's becoming more and more popular. So personally, I believe that this will be the way English works in about 100 years. That's just my prediction, okay? So instead of using the verb to say, I often will use go. For example, he said, what are you doing here? Turns into, he went, what are you doing here? So we're taking that verb say and we are turning it into go and changing the tense depending on what the sentence is. And then he went, what? And I went, huh? And he went, who are you? And I went, I'm Laura. And he went, who's Laura? And I went, me, I'm Laura. This is super common, okay? You're going to hear this a lot. And if you are not familiar with this trend, you're going to get very confused, because if you're expecting people to use say, but they actually use go or went, that's going to really confuse you. So be familiar with this trend. You do not have to use it. I know a lot of people who are learning English, they want to learn it properly and use correct grammar, and that is absolutely fine. But a lot of people do speak like this. So you need to be familiar with it so that your listening skills and your listening comprehension is as good as you want it to be. The next thing I say all the time when talking to my friends is essentially. Now, I use essentially to start a story where I'm going to give the basic details, but sometimes I will still give the full story. So let me give you an example of how I use essentially. Why did you cancel your party? Why did you cancel your party? Essentially, we are very busy and we didn't have enough time to plan a good party, and lots of people couldn't come, so we had to cancel the party. Those are the basic details of the story. Those are the main things you need to know. I'm not telling you absolutely everything. I'm just telling you the basic details. So to start that story, I'm going to say essentially. I will also use it as a response. So if someone asked me the question, if they said, Laura, did you cancel your party because you didn't have enough time and lots of people dropped out? I would reply with essentially, yeah. Those are the basic details. Essentially, yes. So this is a really useful word. If you just want to add that to your vocabulary, it will really help you sound more natural and more like a native speaker. Moving on. The next thing I say all the time to my friends is love that. Just simply those two words, love that. And that is exactly what it sounds like. It's me saying that I love something. So my friend says to me, oh, I think I might go to Greece for my holidays next month. I might say, love that. There you go. If you want to use that, you can. Again, with any of these, you don't need to use all of them. Just take some of the ones that you think, oh, I might use that. That sounds like something I would say, because I want you to be able to express your personality in English. So maybe something I say sounds like something you would say in your native language. So whatever you want to take from this video, feel free to take it. The next thing I say all the time is actually a sentence. So it goes like this. I will say something like, I was just thinking. I was just wondering. I was just looking at. So this is essentially my way of saying this is something I was just doing, but I use it mostly for those three verbs. So I was just thinking, I was just wondering, or I was just looking at. Let me give you some examples. I was just thinking, do you want to come with me to see a concert on Saturday? I was just wondering, do you have a car I could borrow? I was just looking at dresses for this party. Can you help me choose? Okay, this next thing is probably one of my most commonly used phrases ever, and that is no worries. No worries. It's my way of saying, don't worry about it. Often I will say this as a reply to an apology.
Sure, no worries.
So this next phrase I use all the time is really useful if you want to tell someone something surprising. You'll never guess. You will never guess what I just saw. You will never guess what he just told me. Okay, so it usually is followed by you'll never guess what. Okay, so you'll never guess what I am doing tomorrow. You'll never guess what I saw yesterday. You'll never guess what da 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 da. And it's just a nice way of starting the conversation and saying, you will never guess. This thing is so surprising, it's so shocking. I have to start this sentence with, you will never guess. The next thing I say all the time is right, not like left and right, like a clarification. So, you're coming tomorrow, right? You're marrying him, right? It's like a way of saying, yes, I'm correct. This is the truth, right? You might hear yeah as well. So, you're coming tomorrow, yeah? Personally, I use right more than yeah. So try to introduce these as your clarification questions and it will really help you sound more natural.
It's gotta be a gas. You're coming, right?
Now this next one might seem a little bit confusing because it's not actually words that I'm saying, it's just letters. So we've got the letters X, Y, Z. Now these can be used in a couple of different ways. So X and Y are normally used not so much by me, but by lots of people. They are used to be an indicator of something. If you can't give an example, you don't want to give an example, you just want to be a bit more general, you can say X and Y. So for example, okay, if you wear X, she can wear Y. But I use X, Y, Z almost like etc. It's kind of like, I want to give you another example, but I don't need to give you another example. You know what I mean. I'm just filling a gap here. So you can come to my house. It will be really fun. We'll make some dinner. We can go shopping and X, Y, Z. Or I might use X, Y, Z if I want to emphasize that I genuinely don't know something. So for example, I'm in here working hard and he's in there doing X, Y, Z and not helping me at all. Like I want to emphasize to you that I don't know what he's doing in there. So I'm just giving the example X, Y, Z because I can't even create an example for you. So it's quite versatile, X, Y, Z. They're kind of replacements for where you don't want to give an example or you don't need to give an example. This next one is a little bit similar. It's blah, blah, blah.
Talking that blah, blah, blah.
This is quite sassy. You know, if I use this, I'm giving my opinion on someone. I am saying that I don't care what they have to tell me. What they tell me is just blah, blah, blah. It's not a polite thing to say. So I would use it if I don't like a person. So for example, oh, she was telling me, oh, I've got so much money, I've got a new car, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's kind of like saying etc., but in a more sassy way, and you're wanting to explain that you do not care what was said next. You don't care, it's just blah, blah, blah to you. One thing I noticed when I was listening to my voice notes is I use a lot as a thinking sound. I say so I'm not sure, but maybe we could do this. Now, why is this important for you? I think sometimes when English learners are getting very advanced, you need to start looking at little details if you want to sound more natural. And sometimes that is your thinking sound. Thinking sounds in English might be very different to your native language. So pay attention to the sound you make when you are thinking, these hesitation sounds, because that might be the reason why you think your English doesn't sound very natural or doesn't sound very fluent or good. Maybe just altering your thinking sound might make a big improvement. Who knows? The next thing I say all the time is a great example of sarcasm. I know sarcasm doesn't really translate very well, but this is an easy way to do it. So what I do is I say a fact, a bad fact, something not good, and then I add on the end, which is great. So for example, I have to pay my taxes, which is great, or I've lost my phone, which is great. None of these things are great. Clearly, none of these things are great. I'm saying something that is the opposite of what I mean to make a joke, to make light of the situation. So this is a really easy way to do sarcasm if you're very sarcastic in your native language. Maybe start saying something like that. This next thing that I say all the time to my friends is very, very British. Now, this is a phrase that I will use if I want to be honest about something. And I say, I'm not being funny. And that is literally me saying, I am not making a joke here. I am not playing. I'm being serious. I'm not being funny, but why did she say that to me? I'm not being funny, but was he acting a little bit weird to you? Or, I'm not being funny, I do not want to talk to her again. I'm being serious, I want to give you my honest truth, my honest opinion. I'm not being funny. So I say that phrase when I've got a bit of anger in me and I want to rant about what is making me angry. I'm not being funny, all right? I'm not.
I'm not being funny, yeah? Are you not serious?
The next thing I say all the time is a very simple, oh no, oh no, oh no. This is just a way to express that you're sad about something. You feel disappointed about it. It's a bad reaction. I can't find my dog. Oh no. I wouldn't use it if something very serious happened. Don't use it after a death, like my grandmother died. Oh no. It's a bit more light than that. So for light things that go wrong, not death, not serious illness, you can use oh no as a reaction. Now, my friends live all over the country, so I am always trying to make plans with them. I'm trying to organise calendars, making sure that we can see each other. So I am always saying, are you free? Are you free on the 7th of January? Are you free on Monday? Are you free to go to the cinema? It just means, are you available? Can I see you? Are you not doing anything? Are you free? I want to see you, please. And this last one is a really fun phrase. I use this all the time. You're speaking my language. You are speaking my language. I say this a lot to friends. It just means I'm really enjoying what you're saying right now. I agree with you so much. I am so agreeing with the idea that you are presenting to me. You're speaking my language. Yes, 100% yes. And there you have it. Those are some real things I, a native English speaker, say to my friends all the time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you would like to follow us on Instagram, you can do so there. And if you would like an online one-to-one English lesson with me or my partner Bez, the link for that is down below. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time. Ta-ta!